Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Erin, and today I am doing my 5th update to my 2023 project pan. I am doing this in a rolling 10 pan style, so I have 10 items in at a time, and my goal is to pretty much finish everything. So once I finish the product, I roll it out and I roll something else in its place. If you've seen my project pans before, then you know that I geek out about spreadsheets and measurements and weight differences and all that jazz. So I will make sure that I have my graphics popping up with my differences and with my weight changes. But overall, I have a really exciting update for everybody. I am rolling out 2 products and rolling in 2 more. So if you want to see how I am doing on my 2023 rolling 10 pan project pan, then stick around. I filmed another video before this, so my eye look is the same, but I did change my shirt and I put my hair down. So these are my natural curls. I washed my hair last night and I let it air dry. So this is what I work with on a daily basis. Also, I have a cowlick at the back of my head, which causes all of this. Anybody else have a cowlick at the back of their head? Like, what do you do with this? Because this hair just does its own thing. So if you see some craziness sticking up back there, it is just the way my hair grows. But overall, like I said, I have some really exciting updates and also some exciting updates for my Pan That palette, which I always tack on to the end of this video. So without any more rambling, I have my spreadsheet pulled up and I'm going to go ahead and go over all of my progress. And I think let's start with my empties. And so I told you guys that I anticipated, and I'll try to maybe pop up the last picture of this one just to see how little product I had left, but I did finish up my Becca bronzer. So this is the Becca Sunlit bronzer in Bali Sands, and completely done. Beautiful shiny pan. So for this one last month, it was weighing 54.64, and then I ended up using it 9 times, and the empty packaging is 53.91, and that was a usage of 0.73 grams. Overall, for the entirety of me using this, I rolled this in at the very beginning of the year. I used this 100 times to use it up to completion. For this next one, I'm cheating just a little bit, and that is because I'm talking about my Tarte blush. So last month, this was weighing 17.74. I ended up using it 18 times. If you watched my other video, which again, I'll post my update up in the eye and also down in the description box. But last month and the past couple months, I've actually had a goal to use this 10 times. I was so close on this that I just like powered through it. So I did use this 18 times and I used up 0.48 grams, and I'll have my like B-roll popping up to show you what it looked like at the end of May, and you'll see such a little bit in there. So basically, I only had to use this one more time in June, so I used this on June 1st, and I did use it up. So instead of waiting a whole month of having to roll something in, I figured I'd go ahead and I would call this an empty for the project pan so I can roll in a new blush, but I am super excited to get this rolled out. And I think I did my calculations. I would have to grab my other journal, but I tracked my progress on this last year and this year, and I think it took me 121 uses to use up this blush to completion. So my empty packaging is 17.24, and so there was only 0.02 grams left in this, and so I used that up in one application. But I am super excited to have my first powder blush of the year rolling out and being considered an empty. So with my empties out of the way, let's go ahead and roll into progress, and I'm just going to run through as it is on my spreadsheet, and that typically will go from oldest to newest because I roll things in at the bottom of the spreadsheet. I will of course have all of my weights and graphics popping up, and I will also have my B-roll so that you guys can get some closer look at these products. But we always start with my MAC Painterly paint pot, and I am just steadily expanding that pan. And I am now, like I said, I'm consistently like using my finger like this to wear down the sides of it. So the pan in the center is not necessarily going to expand a large amount because I'm not digging to the bottom. I'm really just trying to thin down the sides. But I am continuing to make really good progress on this. Last month we were at 51.49, and this month we're at 51.16. I did use it 24 times for a usage of 0.33 grams. So again, this is going to be here for a long time this year. Hopefully I'll use it up by the end of the year, but I am just having so much fun tracking my progress on this product. Next, we have my ColourPop lipstick in Virgo Moon, and this one it's almost there. Let me wipe off the tube because that's kind of gross. I try to clean my makeup up before I show it to you guys, but we have a little nub. We've hit the plastic on this side, so there's only product over here. And you'll be able to see a reduction in my graphic that pops up, and also in the B-roll you'll be able to see how little this is. But last month we were sitting at 29.87 for this. I don't track usage on this because again, it's right there next to my desk where I work, so I reapply throughout the day. But this is down to 29.54, and we used 0.33 grams of this. So I'm trying to see, that was a little bit less than last month and a little bit less than March. But again, I'm steady progress. I anticipate this being done in June. So when I have my July update, this will probably be gone, and that is so exciting. I already have another lipstick in mind to roll in its place, but I'm not going to do that quite yet because I'm not sure how long it's going to take me to use this up. But I've already kind of thought about repurchasing this color because I've just grown to love it so much. But I do need to go through some other lipsticks in my collection before I bring anything new in. Next, we have my Bobbi Brown corrector, and I did melt this back down because I was having trouble kind of getting enough product around the edges with the pan in the middle. And so I did melt this back down, so it probably looks a little bit different. And in my B-roll, I cleaned up the pan a little bit so that you guys could see it, but this is what I'm looking like. And if you see right there in the middle, that is pan. So this is very thin because again, I melted it back down. So very thin and definitely a big pan in there. We were at 13.73 last month. I did use it 26 times. We're now at 13.49, and I used up 0.24 grams of this. So a little bit more usage, but also I use this a whole lot more times. And my usage on some of these is going to be a little bit off. There was a few times this month that I did lighter makeup with like a BB cream, but I still went in with my corrector. So basically assume that I did my makeup 26 times this month, but some of my other products I did not use. But I always use this because I always have my dark circles in the corners of my eyes. So I love this. I've already had purchased my replacement, which I'll stick my last month's buys and buys up in the eye because that is where I went over when I repurchased my replacement for this. But overall, still loving this, still works great, and so I will be happy to start using my backup of that once that one's done. My next product, I'm trying not to shake up or tip, but this is my NARS Soft Matte Complete Foundation, and we are down to here. I can see through the lights. I mean, the line is right there. I've only used this a couple times so far this month because, again, I am pre-filming for the 5th, so I'm already into June as I'm filming this, but we are down to here. So I'm still making really good progress. Again, I expect to slow down a little bit as the tube gets bigger down here, but super thrilled to continuing to have progress on this. Originally, I thought that this was going to take me until like November to finish, but now I kind of feel like even September we could be rolling this out. But overall, I'm still loving this product. It has beautiful coverage. It is actually starting to get very warm here in Florida. We were in like the mid 90s the other day, and it just felt like you were walking into just walking on the sun, basically. And so I definitely need a product that's going to stay on my face. And so last month we were weighing in at 68.06. I did wear this foundation 23 times in May and we're at 60.73. So I used 7.33 grams, which that is about on par. Last month I used almost 8 grams. And so we're probably going to be floating in that anywhere from 7 to 8 grams per month on this product. And so again, I am super excited about the progress that I'm getting on this product. My next item that I have been working on is my e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. And as you guys can see, we are down to the last little bits of this product. It is very satisfying to see the tube getting thinner. What are we looking at? Maybe 5 more uses and this will be done. And again, I'm going to be interested to see how many total usage I can get out of this compared to the Dewy Primer, which again, e.l.f. teased all that stuff and then they're still not kind of, I don't know if they're going to put their money where their mouth is and come back out with that product, but we shall see. But I think, where were we last month? We were at 33.72 grams. We're now at 21.88. I did use it 24 times for a total of 11.84 grams. And so typically using about 11 to 12 grams of primer is pretty on par. I do use 2 pumps of this each application. And so I'm enjoying it, but again, because it's a smaller amount of product for the same price that they used to sell the Dewy one for, it is what it is. But I'm kind of like on the hunt to see if there's other primers out there that I would like to try and kind of take a break from some of the e.l.f. gripping ones. So next up I have my Tarte highlighting palette, and I was focusing on the 2 shades at the bottom that I had my Fenty highlighter mixed into. And again, with the really reflecting packaging, I'm trying not to blind you guys, but this is what we're looking like right now. So you can see I did hit pan in these 2 shades down here. They are very thin, they are repressed, so I'm not necessarily saying that it was like a huge accomplishment to hit pan on these, but definitely this is working my way through using up these 2 pans this year and rolling I think I said like 5 pans of highlight out this year, so that would be really, really exciting. I do dip into these 2 occasionally, which these are 2 of the original Tarte shades, but really I am working on these 2 down here. I'm still loving this formula. It still smells like vanilla. It is absolutely delicious. But we were sitting at 120.54 grams last month. We're now at 119.68. I did use this 24 times, and that is for 0.86 grams of usage. So again, I'm getting really good progress on this. I hope that maybe in the next 4 months, I will have those 2 pans of highlight complete, and that will be super exciting. Next item is the ColourPop Lippy Pencil in another round, and this is where we're sitting right now. Again, there is my mark that shows where I'm working down to. That is in comparison of my other lip pencil that I'm used up from ColourPop. That's where the other one ended, so that's where I'm assuming this one will end as well. Of course, this one, I think I showed you guys last time, it does come out, so I'm glad that I'm using this one up. Of course, I'll have my graphic popping up to show you the difference, but definitely the difference in weight was, let me see, we were at 6.92 last month. Again, I don't calculate or I don't track usage on this, but just assume that I use this anywhere between 24 to 26 times. And we're now at 6.43. So I use 0.49, so almost half a gram of this product. For some reason, I have to sharpen this one a lot more than I did with Little One, but I mean, I'm not complaining because I'm happy to go through it, but I do have to sharpen this one a little bit more. So next we are looking at my Franken bronzer, and the packaging is really reflective on the Z palette that I'm using, but this is where we're at. So if you see those shiny bits in there, that is pan. Again, I have a couple more days usage on this because I'm filming into June, but I did have pan on this prior to rolling into June. I will have, of course, my picture and my B-roll popping up to let you know what it looked like at the end of May. This is a Franken product, so this is a mix of a bunch of stuff, plus it's repressed, and so this is not necessarily tightly packed together, so I expected this to go quickly. But again, I was able to use up the Becca bronzer, so I started on this in May, and I'm super excited to get a lot of progress on this. And so we were at 21.55, and again, I am just weighing the pan. And so we were at 21.55 grams. We are now at 20.04. I did use this 17 times, and so I used 1.51 grams of product. I'm curious, I used to use, so whenever I was using the Becca bronzer and I was using it for a full month, I was typically using about 2.5 grams of bronzer. So I guess that makes sense that I only used 1.5 grams because I used it for only about half of the month. And so I hope, kind of looking at going forward, I'd be able to use up at least 2 grams of that product per month. I think I've said it before that I have bronzers mixed into there, possibly back to 2017, when I just had bronzers that weren't the right tone or right color for me. I would kind of mix them with other stuff. I also do have my Hourglass powder mixed into there, so again, it is very loosely packed, so I expect that to go relatively quickly, and I am okay with that because I am going to be free of those bronzers from over the years. But let's see, our next one that we have, and this is the last of our updates before we go into roll-ins. This is my $1 Billion brow pencil, and so the weights might be a little bit different because the spoolie did fall off. So I had to put some glue in there and then glue it back together, and so now it's holding tight. But that spoolie came off like it wasn't even glued on in the first place. Here nor there, but this is how much I have left of this product. And of course, I'll have my graphic coming up and my B-roll coming up. I feel like I'll be able to use this up in June, but by looking at my tallies, I feel like I might not be able to. I hope I can use this up in June. It's not my favorite. Like I said, I got it in a FabFitFun last year, so I'm just trying to get it out of my collection. But we were at 6.55 grams. Now we're at 6.49. So that's a total of 0.06. But again, I had to put a decent amount of glue down in here to get it stuck back together. So I don't think that my weights are going to represent the actual changes because I did have to add weight to the pencil with the glue. So again, I'm going to be relying more on my tallies than on my weight changes, but definitely I will be happy to get this used up. And again, I really hope that it is gone by the end of June. So that was my 2 rollouts and all of my progress. So let's see what I am rolling in their place. And so what I'm going to do, since I already had my bronzer rolled in, I am going to roll in a blush. And this right here, it's in one of my Makeup Geek magnetic palettes, but this is actually Benefit Dallas. And so let me see, when did I buy Dallas? 2017. So this blush is from 2017. This is the original Dallas. So this is not, you know, when they re-released it a couple years ago. This is the original Dallas. Of course, probably like all of us, I picked this up on the recommendation of Jessica Braun. I had hit pan when it was in its original packaging. I hit pan on the square pan, and then I ended up repressing it. And I don't know why. I think there was so little product that I decided to repress it into a smaller pan and put it into my blush palette instead of having the bulky box packaging. So definitely, like I said, this is repressed, and so this might be a little bit looser in the pan, and actually I had to repress it again. I did have pan on this again that I ended up doing last year in the deck of panning. I had like a 30 use goal or something like that to hit pan on it, and so it had pan on it before I repressed it like 2 days ago. But stuff fell off of my table and it shattered, and thank God, like all of it was contained in here. And so I was able to take all of that product and repress it. So we are starting with, and again, I am just weighing the pan itself. So I am just weighing the pan, and this weighs 7.91 grams. I don't believe I'm going to be able to use this up by the end of the year, but I want to just try to get as much progress as possible. Definitely going into the summer and having more bronzy looks, I think that this will be great. I do have this blush on my cheeks today. And so I'm going to continue to set a goal of 10 uses a month on my blushes that I have in. And so we will see how I can do on this blush here. But I would love to get, I think that's my oldest blush that I still have in my collection from my 2016-2017 days. And so I would really love, even though I'm so sad that Dallas would be gone, I would be happy to have an older blush rolled out of my collection if I can use it up by the end of the year. We will cross our fingers on that one. And then because I am so close on using up this, I'm going to go ahead and roll in my next primer. Because again, I don't want to waste a whole month of use on a new primer just to roll it in next month, when I swear there's probably only 5 days of use left on this. So my next primer that I want to roll in is from Essence, and this is the Hello Good Stuff Glow Serum Primer. So this got really popular last year as kind of a dupe for the Glow Recipe niacinamide drops. And so I don't know what it is, but primer is one of those things that I don't want to spend high-end prices on. And so if I can find a dupe or a similar product at a drugstore price, I'm going to go with that. So this is what, $5.99? Yeah, $5.99. So I have used this once just to make sure it didn't have a reaction with my skin. But overall, this is pretty much a full bottle. And so I will go ahead and I'll mark it when it settles. But like I said, we are at full capacity at this point, and we are at 82.22 grams of product on this one. So we will see how long it takes me to use this up. I think I will end up using probably like 1.5 to 2 pumps per application of this. And I'm also curious on how this is going to do on my skin during the summer, since I am oily. So we will see how I do with that. But if that turns out to be a primer that I love, I would gladly repurchase it, especially since, again, I love the price of $5.99. So that was the update on my Rolling 10 pan. So let's look at my Pan That palette for the year. So I am trying to, I'm not trying to use up all the shades, but I am trying to hit pan and just have more use. And I'm doing that with my ColourPop Give It To Me Straight. And the inside of this palette will look the same as it did last time because I still have my shades pulled out. I mixed this shade in with another one to create a hairline powder, and then I think I've used this one an additional time on a look, and so this pan might be a tiny bit bigger, but overall this has remained the same because I am working on a quad of products. And so we have, this is what we are looking like right now. And the biggest difference you will see is that we finally hit pan in this shade right here. So I am using this cream color to set my eyelids, so I use this every single day. This is the only shade in the palette that I am trying to use to completion. And then I finally hit pan on this shade. I love using this one as a lower lash shade, and so I do actually have that on my look today, and I absolutely love it. I'm getting quite close on this one. There's quite a big dip. I did use this shade to do like the nail polish hack, and so I did use that as a nail polish. It was beautiful. My top coat is like really bad right now, so it just peeled off, and so again, I feel like I need a better top coat to actually make the nail polish trend or hack work. And then this shade right here, I have started to use that for an inner corner, and I do have a little bit of a dip going on that one. So I'm going to continue working on these shades. I think I'm going to take this one out and put the maroon matte in. And so this one right here, I think I'm going to take that one and put that in just so I can start getting a dip on that. There's very little disturbance on that shade, and so we will be kind of like starting from scratch, and I'll see how I can work that maroon shade into some looks. But overall, I am super thrilled with the progress. Again, I don't track usage on this. That would kind of like be above and beyond while I'm tracking everything else. My whole thing is just reaching for this consistently, getting some of the shades used up, and I am super thrilled with my progress. And I always show you guys my hairline powder, and so this is what we're looking like. Expanding that pan in the middle, and I've been kind of putting my brush over here, and so we'll see how I can do with expanding that pan. But I am in desperate need of dyeing my hair. I actually picked up hair dye over the weekend, so maybe I'll end up doing that. But I am super thrilled, and I'm trying out another product, and I'll talk about it in my buys and buys. I'm trying out a product to help with like hair density, and so I'm trying to even get some of that other hair to grow in here where I do have some sparseness. But overall, I am glad to be using my hairline powder, and that just makes me feel a little bit more comfortable and confident. So great progress on my Pan That palette, and great progress on my hairline powder. So that was my complete update for my 2023 Rolling 10 Pan Project Pan and my Pan That palette. I hope that you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys are excited about the progress as I am. Again, I am tracking everything. I hope you guys appreciate how I am tracking and how I keep my journals. I've had quite a few of you reach out in the comments stating that you have created a panning journal for yourself similar to what I do, and that it has really been working for you guys to be aware of your products, to track them, to see how long it takes them up. So I am so thrilled that so many of you are loving that. And I really do appreciate you guys for watching and commenting. So, do all the things. Hit the thumbs up on this video, subscribe, hit the bell so you're notified when I update. Drop me a comment down below. Are you working on a Project Pan, or did you use anything up? Let me know how you're doing, and I really do appreciate you guys. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you in my next one. Bye.